Welcome to Historic Skylines. Today we dive deep into the incredible story of China's economy. A transformation so massive that it reshaped not only the destiny of 1.4 billion people, but also the global balance of power. Once a nation crippled by wars, foreign invasions, and poverty, China rose from the ashes of the 20th century to become the world's second largest economy, standing shoulder to shoulder with the United States. This remarkable journey began in 1949, when the People's Republic of China was founded under Mao Zedong. The early years were marked by central planning, collectivized agriculture, and limited industrialization. Although Mao's vision aimed to create a self-reliant socialist economy, policies like the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution disrupted production, caused widespread famine, and stunted growth. Yet from these painful lessons emerged a new phase of reform and innovation. When Deng Xiaoping took charge in 1978, he famously declared it, "Doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice." This statement became the philosophy of China's economic miracle, a mix of socialism and market principles that changed everything. Deng launched the open door policy, inviting foreign investment, promoting exports, and encouraging private enterprise. Special economic zones like Shenzhen, which was once a small fishing village, became hubs of global manufacturing and innovation. Within a few decades, China's GDP growth averaged around 10% per year, lifting over 800 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction in human history. The 1990s and 2000s were the decades of acceleration. China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, opening itself fully to global trade and becoming the world's factory. Western companies like Apple, Nike, and General Motors began outsourcing production to China, where cheap labor-efficient infrastructure and state support made manufacturing incredibly competitive. Cities like Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Beijing turned into sprawling filled with skyscrapers, high-speed trains, and bustling ports. The rise of China's middle class was equally astonishing. From barely existing in 1982 over 400 million, strong by 2020, creating one of the largest consumer markets on Earth. But China's economic rise wasn't just about cheap labor. The country began investing heavily in technology, innovation, and education. The government's Made in China 2025 plan marked a strategic shift from low-end manufacturing to high-tech industries like robotics, artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and semiconductor production. This transition aimed to make China less dependent on foreign technology and more dominant in cutting-edge sectors. China's massive infrastructure projects have become legendary. The Belt and Road Initiative, launched in 2013 by President Xi Jinping, seeks to connect Asia, Africa, and Europe through a vast network of roads, ports, and railways, essentially rebuilding the ancient Silk Road for the modern age. Domestically, China's infrastructure boom produced over 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail lines, world-class airports, and entire cities built from scratch. Projects like the Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectric power station on Earth, showcase China's engineering might and its determination to achieve energy security. At the same time, China became a leader in renewable energy, producing more solar panels and wind turbines than any other country. Its investment in electric vehicles, especially through companies like BYD and NIO, signals a green transition aimed at reducing pollution and dependence on fossil fuels. However, this rapid growth has not been without challenges. Environmental degradation, air pollution, and income inequality remain serious concerns. Many rural areas still lag behind coastal cities, creating a wide economic gap between regions. The Chinese government has recognized these problems, introducing policies like the Common Prosperity Initiative to promote more equitable wealth distribution. Another challenge is China's aging population, a consequence of the one-child policy that was enforced for decades. As the workforce shrinks and labor costs rise, China must rely increasingly on automation and productivity gains to sustain growth. In recent years, China's relationship with the global economy has entered a new phase. The trade war with the United States, technological sanctions, and geopolitical tensions have pushed China to focus on takeover men. Dual circulation strategy aims to boost domestic consumption while maintaining strong export capacity. Meanwhile, China has made groundbreaking progress in digital innovation. The rise of tech giants like Alibaba, Tencent, and Huawei has revolutionized e-commerce, fintech, and telecommunications. Mobile payment systems such as Alipay and WeChat Pay have made China nearly cashless, while its social media and streaming platforms have created a vibrant digital culture. The Chinese model of digital governance, blending state control with technological advancement, has become a subject of global debate. China's economic influence now stretches across continents, from Africa to Latin America. Chinese investments are building highways, mines, ports, and power plants. The yuan, or renminbi, is gradually emergent as a global currency. And China's financial markets are attracting record foreign investments. Beijing's strategic lending through the Belt and Road Initiative has given it significant geopolitical leverage, often referred to as soft power through infrastructure. Yet critics accuse China of creating debt traps by offering loans that some countries struggle to repay. Despite controversies, China's presence in global trade and finance is undeniable. It is now the largest trading partner for more than 120 countries. Domestically, the Chinese economy is also evolving from manufacturing towards services and innovation. Urbanization continues at a massive scale, with over 65% of the population now living in cities. The government's focus on digital transformation, smart cities, and artificial intelligence is shaping the next phase of development. 5G networks, quantum computing, and space exploration are no longer dreams. They are active parts of China's national agenda. The launch of its own space station, the success of lunar missions, and breakthroughs in biotech show a nation aiming not just for economic power, but technological leadership. However, China also faces mounting economic pressures. After decades of double-digit growth, the economy is now slowing to around 4 to 5% annually. Real estate crises, such as the collapse of property giant Evergrande, have exposed structural weaknesses in the housing market, a sector that accounts for nearly 30% of China's GDP. Youth unemployment has hit record highs, and global demand for Chinese exports is fluctuating due to economic slowdowns abroad. Despite these headwinds, China remains resilient. Its vast domestic market, strong state institutions, and focus on long-term planning give it an edge that many democracies lack. The government's ability to mobilize resources quickly, as seen during the COVID-19 pandemic, demonstrates its centralized efficiency, though often criticized for its lack of transparency and human rights issues. Today, China stands at a crossroad It has already achieved what few nations ever caught, transforming from an society to an industrial and now digital powerhouse in less than half a century. The next challenge is sustaining growth while ensuring sustainability, equality, and global stability. The world watches as China's rise continues to shape the 21st century economy, influencing everything from supply chains to climate change, from digital currencies to space competition. Whether admired or feared, China's economic story is one of vision, resilience, and relentless ambition. From the rice fields of the past to the skyscrapers of the present, China's journey is far from over. Its future will not only define its own destiny, but perhaps the destiny of the entire global order. And as we look at the glittering skylines of Shanghai, the bustling factories of Guangdong, and the silent deserts crossed by new trade routes, one truth becomes clear. China's economy is not just a national phenomenon. It has a force of history reshaping our planet. From Mao to Xi, from isolation to globalization, from handcraft to artificial intelligence, this is the story of how China turned its vision into reality and redefined what economic power truly means in the modern world.